Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start the next session, so if we could take our seats, that would be great.
Extension out not coming.
So I will get one.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, people are raring to go here. Yeah, we need a bell. Ting, 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 ting. Tinkerbell, yes. Ah,
The guy is coming. So I'll sit here.
Zoo.
Huh?
Charger? Okay, no problem.
No, you'll be
No, big no.
small one.
herding cats. What's the term? Herding cats while walking through treacle trying to nail jelly to a wall. Yes. Just call this the Lemming Club. Are we ready to go, Sarah? Okay, lovely. Where's Ahmed got to? Sarah? Sarah? Can you find Ahmed, please? Oh, here we are. Would you like to take the stage, sir? Please. Without further delay. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first session of the afternoon, Mr. Ahmed Amar, who is a business and technology evangelist from excuse my pronunciation, Fazliar Group Holding and international speaker on emerging technologies for the Sky Computing Alliance here in the United Arab Emirates. Ahmed's going to talk to us today about information security governance and change management. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope I'll keep you wake up after the lunch session. And usually I used to take the sessions as an interactive, but since I have only 20 minutes, so I will try to rush up. And I have been motivated with the rapid round which has happened just before the lunch, 3 minutes 20 seconds. So as you can see, this is the topic for today for me to talk. However, I'm not going to talk from the theoretical, I will talk from the practical aspects. So the goal of the information security governance is about taking the responsibility and reflect accountability and commitment. And the change is imminent. Change happens and change is of strategic type. So, and it requires a team effort, leadership, and with a strategic mindset and commitment. So let me go back. So we are living in a world of information. As you can see, the information is emitting. All the devices is giving the information. We have a lot of data. And why we are being called as a big data, we are talking about, we are living in an information world. We are living in a world of innovation. We are living in a world where the technology is transferring, transformation of technology is happening. All those type of transformations which are happening, it may not happen unless you have the mindset transformation. So mindset transformation is also the key. So you have all the tools, technologies and everything in place, in hand, but you are not open to adopt the best practices, the frameworks, the methodologies, and you align them to your regional priorities and preferences. It is very important. As you can see, what we have been saying, without specifically mentioning what are the frameworks and what are the methodologies, I just put up this particular slide as information governance theme. We are living in a world where you have all the different objects. We have been listening Internet of Things. So Internet of Things are nothing but those are the devices, those are the peripherals, those are your embedded devices. They have a kind of connectivity, not only your computational devices, even non-computational devices, it has certain characteristics, it has certain data which need to be captured in order to make a better decision. A decision which to comply your strategic objectives and goals. And if you, from the project management methodological perspective, if you talk about the risk, the governance and the scope and all of that, we are using the input. So there is something, some data is being given, some information is given that goes as an input. And that input you apply tools and techniques to get an output. So whatever you are taking an action or computational things you are doing in order to relate and to be relevant to your goals and objectives, that is what is very important. And whatever you have the data, final data, where you can make the decisions, where you will be able to identify what is the risk, where you will be identify what are your goals. That is what it all matters. I have been attending other sessions, so I will not try to duplicate the talk which has been already given clearly. However, capturing the data, it is not about your, it is about your strategy, what you want to achieve. What is your scope? What is your priority? This is what it matters. How it is being presented, whether it is being presented by using your Excel sheet or by using your you are presenting the data by using some dashboards, some APIs, some applications, or even your SAP GRC or whatever you call the GRC tools which are available. It doesn't matter. But the most important thing, what matters, and this is what I have seen. George also he was talking about A plus. So there are 6 A's, but however he talked more than 6 A's, I believe. So those A's you need to really consider, and that's what it is all about. So the transformation will happen, and this is the knowledge we call. So in order for us to have a proper governance, you have to have a trustworthy commitment. A commitment with regards to the acquisition of the global standard and IT practices, and a commitment where you just acquire that knowledge and try to relate and be relevant and map to your regional preferences. Whatever you have the regional regulations, whatever you have the local laws or preferences, that's what you need to do it. And then this is like an industrial best practice, because for every specific industry, there are best practices. So you really don't need to reinvent the wheel. That there is, of course, there is a common governance, but you need to be specific to that particular industry. And that's what it matters. And every industry has its own industrial best practices. And that's what it is going to help you out. And that information and data need to be secured. And you have to have an infrastructure security. So infrastructure security, your services security, your products, what you are delivering to the customer, it need to be secured. All the related data and need to be secured. You need to make sure. But what happens basically in this part of the world, what I have seen, most of the employees who is working in your own organization, they don't know what is the direction of your organization. You don't know what is the strategy, and that is considered to be a confidential document. What the gentleman, the previous speaker, the DHL, he was talking about the juniors. Juniors, it's not just about the junior, even the middle management, they don't have that access to your own organization strategy. If you don't know where you are going to drive, how you are going to achieve those targets before you talk about securing and compliance, because we don't know as a normal employee. Even sometime as a project management, we have seen that project managers, they have their own project files on their laptop. There is no central place where we can have a holistic view. There is no sharing of information is happening. So those kind of things you need to really consider. And then when you define those roles and responsibilities as per the authority given in your organization, that's what it matters. And based on that authority, then you could have an information or your corporate information strategy. What kind of information should be accessible with whom? So it's not just about the roles, and it is not about the responsibilities, not just about the profile. There are many things. So you need to draft and outline and scope what you want to achieve, how the data has to flow, how the information has to flow, what are the approvals it requires. That's what it matters. So change is imminent. We talk about the change is statistic in nature. The change will happen. But we as leaders, we as individuals who are responsible for a relevant job in our organization, you need to adopt a dynamic capability. I will not name all of those which is already mentioned over there. I think it's clear, because those are a set of things you need to consider, and you need to be process centric and you have to be procedural centric, you have to be policy centric. That's what we were talking about. Securing of the information is not just about the policies, procedures, and implementation. But before those three elements, you are talking about having an identification. You exactly need to understand, identify, and then understand that what exactly you want to achieve. You will never be able to identify unless you exactly know what is your organizational strategy, what is the organizational priority, what is your segment, what is your role, what is expected from your, what is expected from you from the organization, by the organization, what are your KPIs. And so it's an approach from top to down, and the activities excellence has to happen from bottom up approach. So there has to be an alignment between the activities which is being performed and the strategy which has been drafted or it is in place. However, this is the CIB kind of thing, so it's about availability. Even today, in today's world, we are struggling with connectivity. There is no technology, there is no governance unless you have the connectivity. And it is considered that security is a burden. More security means you are compromising on the functionality. So you need to find out what is the ratio or what is the ratio you need to, what is the percentage of security you want to implement in your organization. More security means more delay because you are talking about application security, infrastructure security, physical security, geographic security where the applications are being available from the IT perspective. What are the IP addresses which are available? What is the NATing? What are the firewalls? Which firewall can talk with which? And how the server they can communicate? How the servers are geographically scattered? All those kind of things you have to consider. By the time you complete the whole thing, you will never be able to deliver the job which the organization has set a goal for you. So there has to be, we need to find out what percentage we need to set those security implementations or security controls in your organization or in your environment. This is what it matters. So connectivity, even in today's world, even we are seeing maybe in the cities and in the urban areas, we see this connectivity may not be a big concern because we see a lot of bandwidth, we see a lot of bandwidth hungry applications which could work fine. But I have seen a lot of big organizations, including the banking, still they have old legacy or a line of business applications. And those applications requires to be, it has to keep running for a period of time. Couple of years before in London, I have been delivering and I have been listening one of the speech from Gartner president, and she was saying that we need to identify those applications and we need to find out how it is being orchestrated, those applications from the software side, from the information centric perspective, and then we need to see what is going to be in line with our strategy and what is going to be off our strategy. We need to identify what is anti-patterns, what are those elements or those J2EE applications which is giving the data in a way which cannot be integrated, or again you need to put a lot of efforts in order to make sense out of that particular data. Anyway, I will move on to the other one. So confidentiality, privacy is one of the concerns which we have seen today. With the PRISM outbreak which has happened where the data has been captured without knowing the vendor, neither the customer nor the supplier. Those kind of things which are making the governance to have a back foot. And that requires a transparent kind of regulation or compliances which need to be, not only it should be implemented or it should be by the organization or by the leadership in the private and the public sector, but also those service providers and the government authorities that need to be respected. So protection, prevention, privacy, and we are talking about the privilege of roles, all those are important. It could be translated, those things, as all P's, I believe. So that could be translated in terms of an IT, and also it could be translated from the business side. So protection of data, prevention of data, privacy, I think production is repeated a couple of times. And then you are talking about the data security, authorization, roles and responsibilities. Whether it is going through an intentionally or data leakage is happening intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't matter from the confidentiality perspective. The integration and integrity, I could say, from the integration as an IT pro, I could take integration is one of the major endeavor for the IT professionals. Information integrity is the quality of data. Again, a couple of years before in London, I met with a defense, he's the CTO of Department of Defense US. He said, how big the data, it doesn't matter for me, but what matters is the quality. It's not about the quantity. The quality, again, the quality is like a big word. So quality, it means it is about your expectation. What is important for you from the same social media resources may not be important for the other organization. So you need to understand what is the value you want from that particular data, what is the quality you are expecting, and how you can reflect that honesty to the customer, to the supplier to whom you are supplying the data, or you are taking some of the services. So accuracy of information and data, it has to be related, and it should be integrated, and it should be interrelated. Where you find what are the meta tags, what is how you can have those kind of relationships. So again, it is, I think earlier it was covered who, what, so who we are, what we are going to deliver, and when we need what kind of information, and it is about anticipation, it is about acceleration, and it is about differentiation. Yes. So again, it's called 4 C's. There was a 5 P's and now it's a 4 C's. It is about capturing the data. When you are capturing the data, I would like to show the other, this one. When you are capturing the data, there are different places. Before, enterprise data warehouse, it used to be considered as a core data for the enterprise. That's the data, other social data, public data, location services data, your climatic data, it used to be considered as like a nonsense data, which is not useful for me. It is something called noisy data. Now, with this semantic web technologies or semantic web we call, where you can apply the business logic and understand what is the data which is relevant for my organization to achieve the strategic objectives and goals. And this is what it is important. So I will go back to the... So capturing the data, we have seen EMC and IBM, and there are so many other vendors, they are showing you the different techniques, and there are different APIs where you can collect the data, you can store the data smartly by using different mechanisms, and where you can fetch the data with the speed we want, and where you organize and data cleansing. I have seen a lot of organizations, especially those who have the ERP implementations. They have a lot of data is already in place, but when you really want to get those BI reports or business intelligence or business analytic reports, the data, it is there, but it doesn't make sense. There are a lot of links which are missing. So you need to understand that particular aspect, and you have to visualize and explore, and then you make the decision, which is like a corporatization, I call. So it's about capturing, correlating, and coordinating and corporatize, where the data it becomes a useful commodity for your organization. So this particular breakdown is about collection. It is about collecting the data, you are processing the data, where you are computing the data, you are measuring or managing the data, and then you measure. You are consuming the data, and then you are storing. Once you store the data, again the data need to be transformed to different applications or different initiatives you may be having as an organization, from the social media perspective or from the social media campaigns which you could run, and that's how you call as a corporatized data. And this particular the cycle, it's the governance. Governance is not just one thing you have to do, it is always about alignment. Of course, before you align, you have to identify and you have to understand. You align, and then you improve, and then you transform. And once you transform, that job is not done. Still, the job is still, it's a reoccurring cycle. And that's how you will get the excellence. And there are business and IT transformation. I think this is, I have taken from the Gartner, which was last year, the Q4 last year, I believe. So when you are talking about governance, you have to have a trustworthy computational environment in place. You have to have, I just try to put up the things here, like I put the GAP, which is financial compliance thing. You have an ISO, you have an SLA, you have something which is related to your own jurisdiction. Those are kind of compliances your computational environment should facilitate. Then only you will be able to really make the sense. It is not about capturing the data, whatever I have available today in my organization. I am trying to bring up those reports or dashboards or whatever the presentation layer you are going to take. It doesn't make, but there is something you need to do beyond that particular thing. It is not about your IT perspective, it is about considering all the other perspectives of the stakeholders. This is what it matters. And that's how the governance happens, that's how the risk management you will be able to apply, and the availability and integrity and confidentiality, and that's how it goes. Yes. So those are the traditional things which I just try to put what are the risk concerns. Infrastructure, application, data security, spying, unauthorized access. Intentional and unintentional, it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't matter when you are talking about the breaching. Security and confidentiality and so on. However, this I try to put up, the cloud strategy framework, since I'm like a subject matter expert for the cloud and big data. So I just try to, it's about assessment, and this is what I have seen when you talk about, it is always about the assessment. Without knowing what is the state of IT ecosystem of your environment, you will never be able to comply, you will never be able to govern, you will never be able to improve. So assessment of your own IT infrastructure is always important. And understanding all those application portfolios or service portfolios, it matters for you. And those portfolios, how it's being delivered across the different jurisdictions, across different branches, departments, it always matters. And that's how it goes. So there is a survey actually. So CIOs has been asked, what are your priorities which you want to address in 2014? I think this survey was done by the McKinsey. So it was business productivity and cost reduction is 83% priority for those decision makers. And that's how you see the statistics. So how those IT transformations are, IT transformation is nothing but it's a subset of the business transformation. And the business transformation is a subset of your mindset transformation. No matter how good your organization is, if you as an individual doesn't reflect, if you don't reflect the professionalism and the attitude where you understand and undertake the different perspectives, and then you try to implement and change, that's what it matters. So I just try to, thank you, and I try to beat up the time.
So we have time for one question. Sir, gentleman at the front, please. Ask your question, I'll repeat it.
Being the subject matter expert in data and cloud, what challenges you see, especially in the region, security challenges related to big data and cloud in UAE especially?
Yes, from the jurisdiction side, like most of the countries, including Ireland and Saudi, and somebody was saying Qatar, and like where the data has to be within that particular jurisdiction, and that is, I believe, even is a financial compliance also. This is one of the biggest challenge. And the second challenge where I started the sky computing basically because we are talking about different clouds, where we are talking about different complexity. So we need to have a kind of improvement where you have a universal APIs which can be used irrespective of the cloud service provider. And this is what I see, integrating different clouds is one of the biggest challenge. And complying to the law where you have the data. Last year I was in India, I was addressing, and we have seen one of the case with the Airtel. and they have a network across India and the different states. Same data for the same company cannot be fetched at different states. You need to ask, you have to ask and you have to inform the jurisdiction that this is the data where I need to access. So I believe there is a lot of challenges, but these are the two challenges which I see it's like major challenge.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, great question. It actually gives a lot of local perspective, which is very, very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do thank Mr. Ahmed Amar for a very interesting discussion. And moving on, we now have Mr. Jason Clark from Tripwire. Jason's going to be talking about investing in the right security controls. Just on that question and the answer given, actually, nothing new in terms of keeping data local to the jurisdiction. It's been going on for years. It's just, and again with Snowden, you know, the implications of the US Patriot Act. If you were informed, you should have known